What is up? It is your boy Smoothie, but of course, welcoming you back to the new old vlog and installment number 4, I believe, of Vlogmas 2024, possibly 3. It is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024, and Sadie and I are out and about for a morning walk. It's day number 2 of my PTO holiday extravaganza. And I gotta tell you, for being a week out from Christmas, it went from being early on to my hands freezing to it's going to be 60 degrees today. Now it's a dreary and damp 60 degrees, but 60 degrees nonetheless. I'm out here in shorts and just a hoodie. My hands are comfortable. I could probably sit and talk for hours upon end like this, which is a lie. My arm is eventually going to get tired here, but in terms of it being the Vlogmas vlog and seeing what Sadie's doing, not much going on. I figured today we might actually hit on some Christmassy, Vlogmasy type topics, and that is going to be, my question to you is, what is the worst Christmas gift that you ever received, or most disappointment? We'll talk about that when we get back. So the worst Christmas present, or most disappointment, I shouldn't even say worst Christmas present, but the most disappointing one that I ever received, and I'm not even sure the year, maybe 93, 94, the Sega 32X have released, and I was all excited to get it to jump into the next level of gaming on my Sega Genesis. I was looking forward to playing Doom because I wasn't a PC person back then. Still not a PC gamer, but I was all excited to play this cool game that I've watched other people play. And Christmas morning, I got it. I was all excited, went to hook it up, and I had the original base model of the Sega Genesis, and there was a piece that was missing, or that didn't come, that wasn't included. I forget what the piece was. I thought it was a cable. Maybe it was a spacer thing. Not quite sure. But there was something that didn't come. I want to say it was like a video cable, because back in the day, your TVs relied on the RF modulators. I didn't have one that had the AV cables, so maybe it was something like that. Not quite sure, but I open it, go upstairs, connect it, all set to play and to partake in the fun that would soon become a joke, the monstrosity of it, by plugging Sonic and Knuckles inside to have this really stacked thing. But I was unable to play it because of this piece, and apparently I wasn't alone, and I wouldn't have known back then that this would have been needed, because there was no YouTube, there was nothing like that back in the day, so you kind of had to play it by ear, so I couldn't tell my parents if they were thinking of getting it, although I think this one came from Santa, that it needed this extra piece, and you might need to include that. So my dad took me probably the next day after Christmas, to Toys R Us. I remember distinctly, and they were sold out of it. That was the only place, again, the only other store. There was no Best Buys at that time. I don't think so. I'm trying to think of any other electronics store. There might have been Best Buy, but I didn't think to go there, or GameStop or anything, or whatever, Funcoland. And I was just bummed and disappointed. So I ended up returning it, and the money, putting it towards whatever Madden game was. So that was my most disappointing Christmas gift. Sega 32X, and I've still yet to actually physically play the 32X. I think years ago I downloaded some ROMs, but that's not the same effect, and I never got to see the full completion of the monstrosity. It was the 32X, Sega CD, and the Sega Genesis all in one. My friends did have a Sega CD, the second model, not the big one on the bottom. Yeah, and then I think the next console I got was the Sega Saturn, which at that point in time was a bad call. Now regretting and wishing I still had the Sega Saturn, but eventually I jumped into PlayStation and the Xbox, and it's history ever since.